Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction from 1994. So yes, we are back and ready to talk about this film. Once again, of course, the second feature film from Tarantino, and yes, this is the big one, you could say, and very, very iconic film, and one of the most popular of all time. So yes, let's talk about this film. But first of all, of course, a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it. Of course I do. It's one of the best films ever made. I'll say that now, and no surprises here. And yes, so in that sense, if you haven't seen it, I simply recommend seeing it first and then coming back to this discussion. And from there, if you want, we can discuss this film. I look forward to that and hearing your thoughts as well. So yes, with all that said, let's dig in. And yes, many times I've seen this film, and yeah, a few months ago now, I'm rewatching this, and I must say, this is the best experience I've ever had. So there we go. I think that happens a lot of the time when the scenario is right, and surroundings, and you're in a peaceful environment, and I guess every year I love film more and more. So naturally, it does happen. I probably say that a lot, but this film, it's always been one of my favourites. But this time around, even more so. I think it's just blown me away, and it's stayed with me again. This kind of this is kind of underlying feeling to this film, and the ending, of course, and how we see things differently really as we return to that diner sequence. So yes, many things to talk about. I won't be analysing this film, different things, and going into for example the briefcase sequence, or the scene and what is in that, and kind of analysing loads of things about this film. Although I will be talking about we'll be talking kind of in depth, I guess, but it's not going to be a proper kind of analysis video, in that sense. But yes, let's just discuss why I love this film, and there's so many things to talk about. There's the soundtrack, the dialogue, and kind of the feeling of when the credits roll, and the final song comes on, in the film, Surf Rider. I'm just very sad because I'm leaving this universe once again, and I just want to kind of stay with these characters in this world, and just this truly addictive storytelling, perfectly set up, and then just I guess every single sequence adds more and more to the kind of overall the universe and the characters, and there's a sense of wonder to this film that's left when we have the credits, and yet you kind of such kind of layered, developed characters that are complex and human, and as well just so enjoyable. The dialogue in this film, and the comedy in this film. But yes, going back to my first experience, I was around 12 when I first saw this film, and I believe at least as if my mind recalls properly, it was this, and then within the same week I watched Reservoir Dogs, and both of these were just me coming in from school, and just recording these, of course, watching these films, and then after seeing them both very close to one another, that was my first two, of course. I thought, okay, that's Tarantino. He is becoming one of my favourites, and can't wait to see the rest of his films. And by that point, Inglourious Bastards had not been released quite. It was around about coming out, and of course Django was nowhere near. And all these films, and I guess every film that I've seen, I've loved Tarantino more and more, and as well I hadn't seen Kill Bill at that point. So all these films I hadn't seen, but I'd heard of course Kill Bill throughout my childhood. I don't know why I was maybe scared at one point to see this, because the cover was quite intimidating, and then when I really was desperate to see it, I guess I kind of waited until I got the Blu-ray, and it was 2013 by the time I saw this film, Kill Bill. So all these different films that I've kind of have since become part of my cinematic journey, but it kind of began with this film, and yes, it's very fitting because his most iconic overall, definitely his most loved film, and I will say at least one occasion, I think, since this film was released, he has topped it, just in my personal opinion, and there we go. And this is kind of one of my top 50 favourite films, so we're kind of revealing all these things here, but yes, it goes without saying, for me this is one of the very best films ever made, and right up there, very high, for example, in the top films of the 90s as well, which is for me one of the best decades in cinema, and so many legendary filmmakers starting up, and I guess continuing as well, and just making some of their best films, i.e. Spielberg. But yes, we have this film starting off with this diner sequence, of course, and just wrapping up as well with this sequence, although from a different kind of perspective. And this is one of the things that this film does so perfectly. Is this kind of shifting of perspectives, revealing more information to us from a different angle, and seeing things a bit differently as well. By the end of the film, going through this kind of narrative, especially with Jules and Vincent, and as well, of course, Butch, and how this is all intertwining, and in the end, there is this kind of for me spiritual feeling, of that ending, and just that kind of the way in which Jules, chooses to, through his own kind of experiences, throughout what we see as well, kind of chooses to get out, and in that sense, the choices that the characters make, it's all about consequence, and as well, all these things of fate and destiny intertwining. Very subtle at times, the way in which these themes and these feelings and suggestions, perhaps, kind of in this film, and we just have the on the surface level, one of the most enjoyable films, in terms of characters, dialogue, and just visual moments, and I think the scenarios, the comedy to this film is just genius, and it really is. It's a film that is first and foremost, it starts out as a comedy, and this is kind of crime comedy, of course, and then I think later on in the film it becomes more and more kind of emotional, and I think more dramatic, and we learn more about the characters. There's quite a lot of tragic aspects to this film, and then of course the ending is both really tragic, of course, with what happens to Vincent. We know that, after that sequence, chronologically he does die, and he is killed, of course, and I guess is that through the choices the characters make. Of course, Jules would we would guess kind of get out before that sequence there, and then of course perhaps Vincent would not have died if they were both at the apartment there with Butch, of course, and in that sense though Butch would have died perhaps. So it's all this kind of stuff going on, intertwining kind of threads, but the genius thing about this film, and the thing that Tarantino really wanted to do is kind of make all these things not subplots, but the one story, I guess the one kind of piece of all these different characters, and their kind of scenarios, and their arcs, all kind of coming together, intertwining, crossing paths, and in a realistic way, and in a way as well that it kind of makes you think about fate and coincidence, and is it more than that, and just very subtle in the way it's done though, and all this going on, and there's this fully investing crime film, of course, comedy, and it does turn dark later on in the film. I think this is very, very interesting with the structure, of course, famously non-linear structure, and it does have this kind of feeling though that the first act is kind of perhaps around an hour long. It's just this one long kind of opening act, and of course we have, I think the middle is maybe perhaps or the second act is perhaps when things turn darker, of course, with Mia and Vincent, although you could just say when it kind of cuts back to Butch, and we learn about his scenario, and kind of go to him, Bruce Willis. And then of course the final act, you could say, is a very bold way in which to kind of the final act where it all kind of goes down. We have kind of going to a character's house to change kind of clothing, and to get this this mess out of the car, and just kind of once again returning to this hangout kind of feel, and then of course that we have, you could say, the epilogue. It's more just an extension of the final act, and a return to the opening. We have that diner sequence once again, and then of course told through the Vincent's and Jules's kind of perspective there, and that is when of course we have the jump after what we see in the opening sequence, that cut there to the the kind of title sequence. We have a continuation of that, and seeing what happens after that, and how that plays out. Tim Roth, Amanda Plummer, and trying to rob the diner, and then we have that sequence there. So a genius way in which this is kind of told. The structure to this film, it's this epic film, you could say, and it's this really personal film that is mainly just these characters going about their lives, talking for talking to each other, of course, and saying different things, their feelings, their perspectives, on life, and it's just done in such a kind of natural way. This dialogue, yet it's very, very particular, very, very cinematic. Even in for me, other Tarantino films, I've not really. I can't really compare them to this film, quite, in the dialogue. It's a very particular, specific way in which these characters are talking, and it is natural, it is kind of organic, but it's very, 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 specific, and it's just great that so many people love this film, and because it's just a very bold film, and I think to kind of, as I say, to have characters just talking a lot of the time, some people would be not take to that. I love that film, but it's a film that I guess to see that it's done so well, and it's one of the most loved films of all time. Really, a top 10, you could say, overall most loved film. That is just great, and just of course, watching Reservoir Dogs recently to see how this this kind of transformation came about, and really, because Reservoir Dogs is for me a masterpiece, but very, very different once again to this film. Some similarities, you could say, and strikes of violence, but it's a very different film. That is a very raw film, Reservoir Dogs. This is much more kind of upbeat, you could say, and glamorous and kind of stylish in a very specific way. And we have just a variety of characters. It's more kind of uplifting, this film, and more kind of comedic, you could say, and not as raw and violent, and shocking and tragic entirely like Reservoir Dogs. So yeah, very, very different, of course, and two masterpieces, of course, for me, and just to see that Tarantino topped that film, they kind of made this ambitious, kind of magnum opus of an epic. To me, it really is. It's something to behold, and to see his journey, and then of course Jackie Brown. Can't wait to talk about that. But yes, we have this opening sequence, and the first time I saw this, I was just. I came in from school, as I say, and finally, Pulp Fiction. I had recorded this, set some time, of course, well, the entire night, decided to watch this film, and wow, from the opening sequence, of course, instantly recognizing Tim Roth, but yes, just seeing this, and just kind of watching this film, and just being so immersed in the dialogue, of course, the framing, the blocking, of course, and just the cutting there, and the intensity to the sequence, Tim Roth, his reactions, how he's so kind of on edge, I think Tarantino taps into this so well throughout the film. Very kind of intense moments, kind of stylized as well, and it's just this real kind of raw feeling once again, although much more stylish this time round, and just it has this magic to it. But for example, that sequence there, I'm just so kind of on edge, and just of course wanting to know what happens more as we go through the film, and the first time seeing it though was just kind of so kind of rooted in in this sequence here, and of course what would happen next, and the comedy as well, straight away, hilarious kind of quirky characters, of course, Honey Bunny, all this, and the exchange there immediately kind of sets the film up perfectly, and then the line from Amanda Plummer, of course, and then leading into the title sequence, which is just so epic, of course, Misalou playing, and just the titles of Pulp Fiction, is one of the best kind of intros in film history for me, and just the font, and then seeing all the different that moving, and then of course it cutting like a jukebox to another song, Jungle Boogie, and just that moment there, when I first watched it, I was just like, wow, I'd never seen that in a film, and it was just so. It's so kind of the novelty of seeing that, and kind of hearing a song cutting like that, in a credits, title sequence, and then of course we cut, to the first act being mainly Jules, Vincent, of course, and we have different characters, kind of being teased, you could say, of course, Marcellus Wallace, played by Ving Rhames, and legendary in this film, of course, and Butch as well. He's teased at first, of course. Bruce Willis, one of my favourite actors, and he plays Butch, and he's kind of teased as well, and we have that kind of sequence where Vincent crosses paths with Butch, and it is actually confirmed by Tarantino that whoever keyed Vincent's car is actually Butch. So that kind of heated exchange there. Those kind of glances between those two characters. There is this kind of friction there, almost fight, and I guess that kind of culminates very sadly later on in the film with Bruce Willis. His character picking off Vincent, and in that kind of cold way, and just another moment we'll get to, which first time seeing it especially truly shocked me, and I was not expecting that for 1 second, but yes, we have such an investing plot, of course, and details, so many details that are kind of given to us, in just an investing way, and just kind of trying to piece it all together already in that first act, and seeing how these characters, kind of connected, and then of course we have, Vincent being, tasked with, kind of looking after for a bit, Mia Wallace, of course the wife of Marcellus Wallace, and Uma Thurman playing Mia Wallace, and just this legendary, actress playing Mia, and the first time I saw this, I was just blown away by this first act, this first hour really of this film, I was just. It's this kind of feeling, it was a magical feeling, and every time since, it's only been heightened, and I guess just the feeling, this charming kind of way in which these characters are going about their business, and it's a harsh world perhaps, and later on in the film, it really does become quite, I wouldn't say violent, but suggested violence, and dark, kind of feelings to this disturbing moments, kind of suggestions, things to come for certain characters. But yes, I think the first hour especially is just kind of pure charming, magical cinema, and of course seeing Mia Wallace and Vincent. I think this sequence, of course, Jackrabbit Slims, this sequence here, especially, it's just one of my favourite. Stretches, cinema, ever, right up there, I think. And I love the entire film, it's just, I think perhaps the first hour really could be the best. Having said that, I've always kind of changed my mind at times, I could prefer the second half, and, really, seeing Jules Vincent, and, of course, Mr. Wolf as well, just Harvey Keitel, all this stuff here, that could be my favourite, I've said before, but I think perhaps, this first hour or so is perhaps, the most magical cinema to me, and the dialogue, of course, how we learn so much, yet, there's so much to kind of still discover about these characters, and, that is, something that this film does so perfectly, as well, is, setting up these characters, the development, of course, layered, kind of characters here that you can relate to, and at times they kind of deceive you as well, and kind of betray you, of course, but you kind of relate to these characters, and just enjoy them talking, and kind of, I think Vincent and Mia together is a perfect example of this, and then of course culminating in that kind of famous dance sequence, of course, to Chuck Berry. Wow, just to think of this, and to kind of execute it like this, is bold, and just it couldn't have been any other way. It's one of those films. You see this film, and every single choice, I think in this, it's perfect, and the way it should be. It's just a pure visionary piece, and I think this sequence perhaps is one of the most famous, and for good reason. For me, again, one of my favourite kind of scenes in cinema, and just this magical moment, and these two characters, to see how satisfying it is, for them. This kind of tension, really, this kind of chemistry between them, for quite a long time, until that sequence there, and then they kind of it's just seeing them up there, on the stage, on the dance floor, it's so kind of magical, and then of course cutting to them in the car and all this, and of course they go back to the house, and then things are about to happen, and we have of course this kind of this moment when, of course, this music plays, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, and then seeing Uma Thurman's character with Mia, kind of taking drugs, and then of course that moment happens, and first time seeing this again, so many different points in the first hour that was kind of surprising, and I had never seen before in the way it was approached, but then this sequence here, when of course she does kind of almost die here, it's just such a shocking moment, when she snorts, of course, and then that kind of reaction there, and I was thinking, what is going on here? I cannot believe this, and then of course falling, and Vincent coming in, just this, reaction, of course, and I think that perhaps this is when the film changes gear, you could say, and the tone is very different, although it retains the kind of charm, the magic, and the kind of the comedy, of course. This kind of innocence. I think this is a turning point, and I think when the darkness comes in, and it's this change in gear that kind of makes it more emotional, and overall more of a meaningful piece. And you look back to at least I do, to the first kind of hour or so, and more kind of warmth, and kind of wanting to go back and see these characters, for example, in the Jackrabbit Slim sequence, just talking perhaps forever. I could sit there and listen to these characters talking, forever, and of course, then things happen. That is life, and this kind of tragic farewell between Vincent and Mia, and it really is. It's such a kind of that moment happens. It never really picks up again in the film. They do, you see, an interaction or two later on, between the two characters, but we never get them, together talking again throughout the rest of the film, and it's this kind of moment in time in the film, and in cinema actually, of course, just where these two characters were kind of going out together, and you could tell there was something there, and unfortunately things did come about, and the kind of sad farewell, hopeful farewell, from of course Mia, kind of she is a real kind of a character who just makes me feel really great, and just the kind of the way in which she kind of goes about her life, this more upbeat, kind of just hopeful way in which she is, and I think even the final moments when they kind of exchange that dialogue there, I think even then there is that kind of uplifting feeling. These characters not being together again, and of course we learn if you've seen the film entirely, that of course Vincent does meet his end, and it's just a very tragic tale of events, and I think it's a film that I could talk about all day about this, but yes, we have then cutting to the middle portion, and we have, of course, as I say, Butch has been teased early on, and then we actually are dedicated quite a bit of time here to Butch and his perspective, and what happened at the fight, of course, and how it went wrong, and then of course he's with his girlfriend as well, and just in the apartment, and we have this kind of bickering, and just kind of we have cutting though to before this, the kind of story, the monologue, you could say, about, of course, his grandfather's watch, and the pocket watch, and of course the captain, the new those involved, he is, of course, and played by Christopher Walken, of course, and he's recounting this, and then of course he gives the watch to Butch as a kid, so this kind of flashback we have, to kind of build up Butch, and it's a significant point, because actually, the more I watch this, I kind of link the overall way in which this kind of story and this feeling and attitude really, of kind of not leaving a man behind, that whole kind of thing there is kind of passed down, and then, you could say, I kind of, every time I watch this, I'm kind of more, at least I'm sure in my mind, really, that Butch goes back for Marcellus, of course, in the sequence there, the GIMP sequence, of course, but yeah, he goes back perhaps, because he is, he's been instilled this kind of this sense of going back for someone to to kind of never leave a man behind, and this whole kind of this the way in which this story and this item holds so much significance to Butch, in this way in which things have turned out. I think perhaps he goes back for Marcellus to rescue him, not just to save his own skin, although I think that's still there. That is still one of the reasons, but I think more so because he kind of feels this sense of commitment and I guess just doing this decent thing and kind of this loyalty and just yes, I think I link that to the whole kind of scenario with the watch and what he's kind of been, how that has left this impression on him and how he perhaps kind of feels obliged to live up to in some way the past kind of things that happened with his family and I guess this is very very powerful and we have that kind of sequence in the gimp and all this and the samurai sword and of course Marcellus being captured this brutal stuff that goes on and a real tragic turn of events but then Bruce Willis going back to kind of rescue him and of course I love the exchange between Marcellus there and he says we're even now basically and of course leave the city LA of course but just kind of our kind of our past has been settled in that sense. It's been kind of evened out. I love the kind of the reaction there to that kind of mutual understanding between the two characters, and things are said, but then there is that kind of look, and I guess that kind of that mutual understanding, as I say, and it really is a wonderful moment, and I think a kind of perfect way to kind of wrap up their storylines, and then of course Butch is driving off on Zed's motorcycle there, and it's just a wonderful moment, of course, and just getting away, I guess, and yes, just getting back the watch as well, and that is just a wonderful kind of way in which this ends, and of course we have in the centre of the film though just when of course Butch goes back for his watch, it's just this wonderful kind of visual moment when we kind of this tracking shot, and it always sticks out to me, and we follow Butch through the gardens there, and through the fence, and to the actual apartment of course there, and just seeing that moment for the first time, it's just kind of wow, seeing this moment, just following Butch of course, and then afterwards realising wow, it's just one take here, and I think it's one of the best kind of one takes in cinema history actually, and there's a real, I think I can't really understand explain about this this kind of moment here, but I just know I really love this visual moment, and just I think throughout this film we have all this wonderful character working, but I think the visuals as well, it's just so kind of magical. It's this wonderful kind of charming way, dazzling moments of course with the Jackrabbit Slims sequence of course, and them arriving in the car, and that wonderful kind of quirky moment as well when Mia Wallace kind of she draws in the square on the screen. It's just so kind of wacky, yet it works so well in this film, and it's this kind of fantastical feeling, I guess, that kind of goes throughout this film, and just this kind of dreamlike effect, I guess, and this dazzling film though, and the outfits of course, all these every single aspect visually, it's just mind blowing, and very very small budget. This it just didn't really matter at all, and he got all of this out of the budget, and I think 8 million approximately. The budget for this film, and of course, the box office had done over 200 million actually. So yes, a massive success, and just I think though the budget does not show. It has that kind of gritty feeling, but it's this kind of, it feels massive. It feels kind of just this stylish, flashy film, and just wow, what a kind of genius to kind of get this out of the budget, and because a lot of that went to the actors, but seeing just the way this is edited as well, it's so kind of immersive, it's flashy of course, but it's just every single cut means something, and it kind of drives the film, the narrative momentum to this film, of course told out of order, as we know, in every single piece leading to the next, you have this kind of intrigue, the sense of wonder of course, but you just the immersion and the addiction to hearing more about this this world, kind of experiencing this film, kind of being told this story, in just an immersive way. After all, linear, non-linear, it doesn't really matter. It's just how you do it, and how you kind of tell a story. You can tell it any way, in film, and it'll be potentially, immersive and film that you are caring about in some way. And this film, it's just genius. It has the progression to the characters and the arcs as we go throughout the film constantly, gradually. But it's told out of order, and we have teasing and building up to and hyping, you could say, different sequences, of course, right before they happen. And I think every single scene, it has this this way in which it leads to the next so perfectly. And it's just, as I say, this middle sequence though, the way it's shot, it's just stunning. And I think throughout, we have one of my favourite soundtracks, of course, right from the opening, kind of sequence here, and to the very ending, Surf Rider, of course, as well. That is just wow. Of course, other favourites in this film, Son of a Preacher Man. As I've kind of mentioned, different songs as well in this film. But that's one of my favourites, and of course, Chuck Berry. You Never Can Tell. This is just one of the best songs really of all time, and just the entire soundtrack is filled with this kind of this magic, and it fits so perfectly to this world, and the kind of scenarios, and just celebrating pop culture as well. That's one of the things, as we know, this film does so well, and just talking about different things as well in pop culture, and kind of seeing different characters, of course, and the celebration of cinema, and just pop culture itself, and the music is a vital part of that, and it has this whole kind of another layer to the film. It's just through the actual soundtrack itself, and how characters are just referencing things as well, and I love these pop culture references, and just as well, kind of self referencing, and I love as well how we have different Easter eggs, you could say, if you want to call it that, and just different suggestions, and it has been confirmed, for example, that Vincent Vega is the brother of Vic Vega, and I love how Tarantino films, you could say, a lot of the films, even ones you wouldn't expect at first, can be tied together, and there is clues and hints throughout, how different characters can be related in some way to others, but of course, this whole kind of Vic and Vincent Vega thing, that is just one of the things. At first I was thinking, I was kind of intrigued by this, and I was thinking, is that that's the same second name, and it kind of adds up, and since then, of course, rewatching it, it's just more and more clear, and it's just a genius way in which Tarantino is doing this subtly, and of course focusing on this world, this story, but we have so much going on off screen in that sense, and so much to kind of take in, and to kind of think about, to ponder, and as well, that kind of brings me to the final act as well. Have this whole kind of way in which we kind of go back to the diner sequence, and that is the very final scene, and that kind of sequence there, and as I say, kind of continuing on from what we saw of that location beforehand, and as well telling more about this, and from a different perspective, and by this point though, we've gone through this narrative, of course, this arc, this journey, especially of Jules. He's kind of things that have happened, for example, him nearly being killed, the gunshots, of course, going around him, and is that something more, to him at least? Is he feeling this is meant to be, this is a sign, and perhaps is he meant to get out of the business here, and to just go off and do something else? And of course, he makes the decision to kind of leave this, and through his experiences, and the way in which he is perceiving these, though, because it could have happened to another character, and like Vincent, and him almost being shot there, and it could have happened to another character as well, and their reaction is different to Jules in this film, and it's all about perspective, all about kind of judgment, and how characters are reacting to things, and just this response, of course. It really is very, very powerful, that kind of final monologue once again. Of course, we earlier on have, in the first hour as well, one of the best moments in cinema history, the kind of Ezekiel, kind of quote, and Samuel Jackson just in this film, it's either this or Django where he's at his best for me, and just absolutely masterful in this film. But of course, that sequence, very famous. Perhaps the most kind of famous moment in the film. But of course, we have that there early on, and then again, recounting this this kind of passage, you could say, 25:17, and just this quote, once again delivering this to Ringo, of course, as he's called, and Tim Roth, and it's just, I think this time round, kind of really it becomes clear. What he's kind of why he's been saying this, is it kind of consciously, he knows what it's been all along, I guess, and why he's been focusing on this passage, or is it just, I guess, the kind of way in which he finally knows, what this means, and it sounded cool at first to him, and he said this, it's kind of just for the fun of it, and then he's kind of through his experiences, what he's gone through, has he now seen this in a different way, in different lights, and now he truly knows what this could mean for him, and how he's trying real hard to be the shepherd. That is a key kind of moment in this film, and you're looking back and rewatching this film, complex characters in a conflict, and characters trying to be good, perhaps, and at times not being, and that inner conflict, that struggle, I guess, is evident really in all the characters throughout the film, and even the main characters we follow, and I think the way in which commitment and loyalty and all this kind of, it's perhaps at times getting in the way of what the characters are truly wanting to do, and I think as well how it's a real morality tale, and it's this crime comedy, but in the end it is really, really, really deep, this film, and it's this one where you feel I feel kind of enlightened in a sense, just in a general sense, at the end, through this whole arc of Jules, and then kind of the comparison between Jules and Vincent, where he, as we know, as I've said, Vincent does not, we presume, choose to kind of get out of the business, and then timeline-wise, later on he is killed, and Jules, we assume, is kind of safe and well, and he's got out of this business, and it's a real kind of complex film, this, in the way, kind of satisfying things for the characters. Other times not so much, but it all, kind of makes sense, and it's all something that, I accept, as, things that have just happened, and, that's the thing, it's so kind of sincere and, true, I think it all makes sense, it's all kind of honest and true, in the realm of this world, this universe that's been set up, and, I think every single character in this film is compelling, and, even just background characters, I want to kind of see about them, and have perhaps a whole kind of episode of something dedicated to them, and just the dialogue itself, and the character development, the exposition, of course, in this film truly is, first and foremost, visually perfect, and Uma Thurman, of course, her introduction, for example, and as well, Marcellus Wallace, all these different moments visually, the characters, introduced in this epic way, of course, cinematic way, but as well, just I think the exposition to the characters, learning the kind of tragic, the tragedy too, as well, Mia Wallace, and how she did not make it, in the business, and the kind of recounting of the pilot episode, of course, just hearing about that every time, I'm just so immersed in this dialogue, it's relating to the characters, the rest of the world, just life in general, in that sense, and of course the Royale with cheese, seen as well, and that whole kind of way in which Tarantino is just he's talking about differences in kind of burgers between different areas of the world, and it's so riveting, that dialogue there, and it's just I think it's the way in which the characters have been created, the perfect casting as well, and just the way in which we're kind of you're just anticipating for a number of reasons, which is very kind of lengthy to kind of get into that, how we're anticipating every single thing that's going to come out of the characters' mouths, and next, and I think just these characters are so well, so perfectly created, and they are kind of going about, moving about, doing their thing, and we're so kind of immersed in these characters and this world, that we could hear them talk about anything, paint, and it would be interesting, I'm sure, if Tarantino was writing this, and of course, yes, this for me is one of his very best scripts. It could be a contender for his absolute greatest in many ways, and just the way in which this is kind of put together, the structure of the film, and all the different moments in the script. There's not just dialogue, and it really is genius. I never really say, I never really praise films for being original, because I just think films a lot of the time, are taking things from another film, or kind of. It kind of. I don't think every film needs to be, kind of this truly different, kind of film in every regard. I think, and just, I love films that are just, an action film that is similar to another, but slightly different. I like, linear kind of. I like franchises that kind of are different every time, but not just necessarily that. Ones that are what you expect, and they are kind of very, very similar, and I get hooked on that. I love films that are kind of more of the same. I don't know if that's fine to say. I'm not kind of being kind of disrespectful there, but yeah, basically I love linear films, and I love just traditional films. I don't think every film needs to be original and completely different, but I think this is one of the films, at least. At a point, in cinema history, where this is completely different. I can't really trace this back. Yes, here and there, Howard Hawks, and loads of different filmmakers, of course. Leone, all that would come later in Tarantino's filmography, and stuff. But yes, and maybe Scorsese at times, and stuff like this. But I think in itself, as a piece, this film, certainly one of the most original films, in the sense of most unique films, and for that, I do, take my hat off for that. I think, it really is. It's so kind of commendable to see, Tarantino doing something really completely different to Reservoir Dogs. Of course, there is that similar kind of feeling at times with the dialogue and the characters, and just the way in which he wants to tell the story a little bit differently, and in sequences, perhaps, chapters, of course, in that kind of way, and separating moments, from this, and flashbacks, and kind of recounting different things. But really, it's very, very different, completely different to Reservoir Dogs, and it's very different in the way it's shot. Of course, a completely different budget, and therefore, him changing things up as well, and more of a medium budget, really. You could say, this film, and whereas some of his later films, are big budget films, literally. But yes, this film here really is a very unique film in his filmography, and as I say, the dialogue, is just magical. It's one of these films that you feel has always existed, and you just cinema history without Pulp Fiction. It's very interesting. It's like Star Wars. It's like Bond, and it's maybe not perhaps as much, but it's like this, where even when it wasn't made, you would just I guess I'd be thinking it's out there somewhere, waiting to be made, in that sense, and it's this feeling that no one else could have made this film other than Tarantino himself, and that is just something to applaud, and it's his own thing, although paying tribute and homage, just kind of two different filmmakers' styles, and pop culture itself, and I think that is just something that he does. He makes his own thing, and also tributes constantly, throughout his filmography, and is always very thankful, and respectful to different filmmakers, and those that have inspired him, and this film certainly is one of the ones that's inspired many, and just truly one of my favourites. I cannot stress that enough. Every single act is just it's just wonderful. It's beautiful cinema, and just so immersive. Every character, I love. How we have this, the things that don't quite go according to plan, and at the same time, the satisfying moments for different characters, and just there's different moments, suggestive moments, violence, as well as just simple things that will perhaps happen for different characters, and perhaps turn out good for them, and just as well, kind of the suggestion, the kind of suggestive violence of course, the GIMP sequence, as we know, and then of course, kind of Marcellus, the kind of medieval line, that whole kind of moment there, when he's kind of suggesting what will happen, to that character there, of course, and Wow, that truly is very disturbing. And first time I saw that, I was thinking, are we going to see this? I hope not. And yeah, we don't see that, of course. We kind of have that that hint there, and just leaving those characters, and of course, Marcellus saying, what will happen to this character, and then of course, yeah, parting ways between him and of course Butch, and yeah, just I think this film, just the scenarios and the way they turn out, of course, and how they don't go according to plan and don't turn out, perhaps quite as the characters had predicted, and that is life, and it reflects life so well, this film, and the more I see this, the more kind of meaning I think it has to me, and yeah, just I love everything about this film. The dialogue, the kind of the visuals to this film, the editing. It's just, this is top of the class. It's stylish. This is a cool film. This is one of the things I leave the film. And while watching this, I just want to be a part of this world. And for 2 hours and nearly 40 minutes, I am. And then of course the credits come on, and I kind of I cherish this, and I look forward to rewatching it again and again, and I think just this cool, stylish world, and these characters, and complex though human characters that are given so much depth and meaning, and I think so many themes of redemption as well. This is one of the things once again that this taps into, and I think perfectly kind of suggesting different things with fate, destiny, and consequence, and coincidence, and all this. I think how the characters are doing things, and they are having repercussions. Later on in the film, of course, and it's told out of order, and it's a film that is so natural in the way it flows. Yet it's so kind of precisely put together, and this is very. This is one of the masterful things about the film as well. It's that kind of a combination of natural, kind of organic dialogue, characters, structure, of course, and way in which music is played throughout the film. Yet it's so precise, so kind of planned out, and of course conceived by Tarantino, and of course Roger Avery, etc. But yes, this really is kind of a full visionary film, and this is just. It's one of the most delightful films ever made, and it has its dark moments, but of course, just so charming, so kind of magical, and so enjoyable and pleasing. And watching it, I'm just uplifted, and it just inspires me so much, and just I'm so thankful for to Tarantino for making this, and many are of course as well, and just love this film, and I've seen this. Definitely seen this the most out of any Tarantino film, and I think. Django, Kill Bill 1, they're ones that would follow on from that, but definitely I think Pulp Fiction is the one that I've seen the most, and it was the first one I saw from my memory, and yeah, just seeing this at the age of 12, this was something that just changed my life, like many different films that I've mentioned on the channel before, but Pulp Fiction is definitely one of those films, and in the sense that it opened up all these different films in his filmography that I saw, and then of course films that had yet to come out, and seeing those soon after they came out, Django, The Hateful Eight as well, all these different films, and just Glorious Bastards as well, as I say, was shortly soon to come out when I saw Pulp Fiction, and yeah, just hearing about this, around that time, I was just so excited, and again, I waited until obviously that came out, shown on TV, and then I saw that film, and yeah, well, that'll be a discussion for another video, and that was an experience as well, and yeah, just I think Tarantino, in his films, in his work, he just delivers these personal films that are so immersive, so addictive, just wanting to know what happens next, and the way in which he tells a story in such an entertaining way. Just even, kind of Tarantino himself, and, as Jimmy, of course, he is, legendary in this film to me, and, hilarious moments there, of course. And I love Harvey Keitel in this film, and one of my favourite actors, of course, and seeing him as Winston Wolfe, in that final, kind of act, it's just so great, and, kind of, not a cameo, but it's great to see at least him in a role in this film, and of course Reservoir Dogs. He is essentially the main character in that film, and it's great to see him though return in this, and see this kind of interactions, and how he's kind of a character who Vincent and that they kind of they look up to him, and there's this admiration for him, and of course him driving off, even just that's the thing, the entrances and the exits of these characters is so cool and so kind of memorable, and just epic, of course, and seeing him driving off, that's amazing, and just this final act though. This is again, this is not a final act that you would expect really, other than the diner sequence, going back to that where the stakes once again are higher. But essentially, this film starts out as a hangout film in many regards, and then it's it's kind of massive pieces with the boxing and all this, and real on edge stuff with Bruce Willis and of course when things turn sour for Vincent and Mia all this as well early on. And then we have this return to this hangout kind of phase once again, really, even though the stakes are higher, they're trying to clean brain off the seats, stuff, that's just, it's something that is treated in a very comedic way, and it's this kind of hangout, kind of laid back feeling. It's one of the most comforting films ever made, and just seeing the, of course, as I say, Tarantino's appearance is just legendary, and I think just this final act leading into that kind of epilogue, you could say, really all the, at least the final sequence, this is just pure perfection. As I say, the flow to this film is just perfect, and the editing something to behold, and yes, I truly think this is one of the greatest films ever made, and for me a true magnum opus. So in that sense, everyone knows, if you follow the channel, my final rating for this film is 100% plus tier S. So yes, truly one of my favourites, and easily, I definitely say my top 50 of all time, and it's just it's a film that works in every single way, and just exceeds funnily enough its ambitions, and I think what Tarantino set out to do, perhaps he surpassed this, and he really went above and beyond, adding so much novelty, and just I think his own stamp on every single thing. Just everything. The costumes, the kind of these small kind of specific details, and of course the overall the narrative itself, and the characters. It's all there. It's all kind of so immersive, and I think this film truly is one of the most magical experiences that I've ever had. With a film, and it really is. It's up there with the best soundtracks easily. It's a soundtrack that I listen to constantly, and every single song, and ending, of course, with Surf Rider. Wow, what a way! That moment there when they walk out, it's just 2 thumbs up. This film truly, is wow, and hearing that leading into the credits, and seeing written and directed by Tarantino. This is just legendary, and just a film you want to get up and clap to. So kind of flawed by this film once again, and this truly is a film that I would say is one of the best, as I say, and in every single regard, really, and the visuals, the soundtrack, the characters, the script, wow, and just the structure, and how this is film, and luckily it was given kind of some recognition, the Oscars, it was nominated for many, and it did win best original screenplay, and that's great to see. This film truly, I think to see a film that is this bold, and this kind of sincere and natural, and just trying to entertain people. This is the thing, and it's really marvelous to see this, and it's one of the many gifts that Tarantino has given us as fans, and those that follow Tarantino know that this is certainly a film that kind of is popular among this his fans, and just general audiences, and I think, as I say, this is not quite my favourite, but that is just a testament to how much of a master he is, and I think easily Tarantino is in my top 10 filmmakers of all time, and he's right up there, and when I first saw this film, and all the time since, this truly is one of the very best, and it's a magic act, and yes, we'll wrap up there. I think this film truly one of my favourites is, and just seeing all these different films, it'd be great to kind of talk about Jackie Brown next as well. That's a film that I do absolutely love, and I praise that so much, and I think once again so commendable, that film. And yes, that's what I'll be saying about most of these films. That I do love them. And I think I like all of them. I think they're all kind of interesting films, and I think all unique and entertaining films, and most of them are, for me, masterpieces. So yeah, you just kind of get used to that kind of description, throughout this director series. And yes, the second Tarantino film, for many, is greatest, and I can see why people would say that. And certainly, as I say, one of my top 50 films, and at least one time since this, Tarantino, for me personally, has topped this film. So yes, look out for these reviews if you're interested in seeing what that film is, and or that those films are. But yes, this film in itself, one of the best written, directed, acted, and just presented films. Visually, this film is something to behold. It's a jolly film at times. Comforting film. Real warm, human film. This, and at times very dark and disturbing and intense, and a real kind of kind of journey we go on with these characters, despite being out of order. It has that progression, constantly kind of piecing it together, while also kind of just enjoying the moment. In this, and so many different sequences, and he puts you in these kind of scenarios that are quirky and unique, but relatable. Characters, and seeing what they would do, and how they would do things, and what their reactions will be, and then to come out of the film with all these answers, and how we also get things that aren't answered, things left to the audience. It's so genius, and just every single, as I say, choice made in this film. It's just it's Tarantino's vision, and it really is beyond perfection for me. So yes, what do you think of this film? I could talk about this more, but we'll leave it there. I think I've done it quite a bit, and I talked about this film for a while now, and yeah, it'd be great to, of course, I'll be talking about this in the future, for whatever video that is, and certainly, of course, it'll appear on the ranking once again. Once I go through all these films, once again, and of course, once we're trying Hollywood, I'll be ranking these films, and I look forward to that, and hearing your rankings then, and yeah, just feel free to leave your thoughts though on this film, and in the comments below, and just. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts, and what do you think of this film, and how would you compare this to other Tarantino films? So yes, look forward to your respectful comments as always, and always enjoy kind of talking about Tarantino films, and I'm always someone who supports his films, and his work, and all these criticisms against violence and all this. It's just yeah, it's a shame that that's kind of at times overshadowed. It'd be a shame for Tarantino, I must say, to hear all this, and it's never kind of done in a way that I think should be criticised like this, and certainly, yes, once again, this film truly is one of my favourites, and as I say, I truly support Tarantino and his films, and yeah, just can't wait to see. Perhaps his final film, but yes, for now, rewatching these films. Next up, of course, is Jackie Brown, and massively look forward to that. And of course, yes, just going through all of his films, over the next few months or so. And yeah, I've been loving this so far, and I'm going to be watching Death Proof next. Actually, that's how far I've gone without kind of reviewing these films. But yes. Returning to that, and then of course Inglourious Basterds, and yeah, just from there we go, and it'd be great to kind of follow this series, so feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments on this video, and the next films that will come, that I'm reviewing, and yeah, look forward to all this, and yes, once again, continuing all these discussions on the channel. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.